to sell their properties. But in this market where, properties are flying off the shelves, so to speak, there's very little inventory. Everything seems to be going for, above a list price on the MLS. It's very difficult to find deals. What is a deal, folks? Let's start there. What is a deal, right? So a deal is something. Let's start there, Kevin. What's a deal in your mind? Let's start there.
In my mind, a deal is a opportunity that meets the criteria of the investor that I'm working with. And why do I
Okay.
say that? Why do I say that? Most people say, oh, it's a discounted property where you have such and such off. Well, depending on where you are in the country, depending on what your primary investment goals are, that looks different from different people. In the DC market where you're getting, people not really looking for the cash flow, they're looking for that equity build, over time. Or in Baltimore market where you're really looking for cash flow, you're not getting as much equity in some, areas. That quote unquote deal looks different for each person that you're working with. So to say what's a deal, it really has to be a return on investment, and the return has to line up exactly with what your goals are. Is my goal to hold properties long term and grow wealth over the buildup of equity in those properties and to being able to tap those and et cetera, or is my goal to build up quick cash and that's my goal of a deal is for me to be able to flip, so I have to have more equity or be able to create more equity in that deal, whether it's a creative situation or a direct purchase, negotiated. So when you say deal, and I had a conversation about this maybe a week or two ago.
Uh-huh.
We were holding a forum on another platform, and a lot of people just, oh, I can't find a deal. I can't find a deal. One of the things that I point out is that in this market right now, you kind of have to make your deals. You got to, be very diligent about following up with people and understanding, exactly what things help people make those decisions to get you to a deal.
And a good point. I threw a question there in the live chat. What are your goals? Quick cash flow, monthly, or long-term wealth building? And so, to Kevin's point, you may have a different definition of a deal. And on tonight's call, again, Andre Johnson here for Deal Mastery Monday call. Topic is wholesaling deals in today's market. And I threw out to Kevin the question, what is a deal in your mind? And he basically said a deal, like he said, is different to different people. And so what you have to understand, though, is that it's very difficult to find deals of any of these types on the MLS right now and on market platforms. Market platforms being the multiple lists, the MLS, being auction platforms, being properties listed, on Craigslist and for sale by owners. Many of these properties on these retail platforms or on these public platforms are retail price because of the market conditions we're in, where there's very little inventory. The buyer demand is super strong and there's super low supply of properties, in every area. So that's why it's very, very hard to find deals, whether it's properties that have good cash flow, properties that have equity, properties that lend itself to future appreciation, where you can buy it at decent prices in today's market. It's difficult to find deals of all types, any of those types in today's market, if you are just looking on the retail platforms, the MLS, the auction sites, listings online, these different platforms, very difficult. Even buying properties from wholesalers is very difficult to find, very investor-friendly pricing or investor-friendly terms. So that kind of covers what a deal is. It's going to mean different things to different people. However, it's very difficult to find deals of any types in today's market. So now let's transition, since we now have an understanding of why it's difficult to find these deals because of the supply and demand imbalance we just spoke of, the fact that there is strong supply, not just from investors, but also home buyers. Interest rates are super low. So a lot of properties are being, priced up, being bid up or priced up by these home buyers just getting into the market, buying properties at super low interest rates and now paying over lists for properties. So these are the reasons why it's difficult to find deals. Now let's